Hello everyone, and this is what video is this? Yeah, this is a game week 2 match reaction video, and what an exciting week we have had, and what an exciting end to the week we have had to the second game week. The way I'm talking about the Liverpool Newcastle game yesterday, I have not been excited watching a game of two teams I do not support. I support Manchester United, but uh, haven't seen such an exciting game between two teams being played with the energy at St. James's Park. We all expected the game, but it was brilliant to watch. I mean, in the 100th minute to score a winner for a young teenager just to come on win a game like this away from home. God, just a brilliant finish, and this is just in the second week of the season. I mean, you expect games like this at the end of the season, right? Or in the cup games. But this was brilliant. This was a brilliant game to watch. But and so were some of the other games. I think we did a prediction video with one of my friends who came in, and we did a prediction of how the games would be. I believe a lot of my predictions went right. Uh, I would look at the Spurs and City game, and I said, Spurs are Pep's kryptonite. Pep, for some reason, no matter who the coach is, and I'll tell you, you talk about Pochettino and the number of games they lost to Spurs, and important game, Pep lost to Spurs. So I think Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, I think Nuno Espirito was only there for 6 or 7 games. And even in that, he went on to beat Pep as a Spurs manager. And then we had the new manager in Thomas Frank. And even sorry, I forgot to mention Pochettino as well defeated Pep. And now Thomas Frank. It's just that no matter who you appoint as a coach, Spurs will be able to beat Pep. And and they did just that. That was a really good game for me. I think the Saturday was really uh, was a good watch, especially the City Spurs game. Arsenal were very professional. I think uh, this is the spectacle for the rest of the season. They'll not be fluid, they'll not be creative, but they'll get a goal here and there through a set piece. I think even the Saka goal was not really like 100 passes stuck together or 20 passes stuck together. It was a ball being won. Saka gets the ball in and he scores the goal. Uh, and they score the two set pieces. Of course, Arsenal will score set pieces. I mean, I don't like calling them, but they're Stoke City FC in the modern era. But that's the USP. I mean, you can't really argue against that if they are getting goals. I mean, United are really poor at corners. So, I mean, something for United to work on to get goals. If Arsenal are gonna get it that way, might as well you start looking into that. So, pretty professional, 5-0. No one expected anything less of them. Gyökeres scored. I think the big thing for Arsenal fans out of this game is Gyökeres scored. The bad thing for them, they lost Odegaard due to injury in the first half, and they lost Saka due to injury in the second half. And I think this was their one of the biggest concerns in finishing second in the last 3 seasons. They had injuries to key players, Saliba in the first season. Uh, I think Gabriel Jesus in the second season and Saka for a bit in the second season as well. And in the third season, again, Saka was away, Gabriel Jesus was away. They did not have a striker. Kai Havertz was away. Merino was played up front. So uh, the I think injuries had been key to Arsenal not winning the title, apart from some of the other things as well. But I just feel they just have deja vu of missing key big players in the title chart. And I think both Odegaard and Saka look out for at least 2, 3 games, 4 games, and those could well lose them some points. And Arsenal fans would not like it. But good for them, at least they won the game on the weekend. Uh, and they signed Eze, so they revealed Eze. I think that's one good thing. You lose Odegaard, you can get Eze in. not just the same replacement and it'll take time, but at least you have someone with quality to back him up as a backup. Same with Saka, you've got Madueke to play that role, you've got Nwaneri to play that role. So now they have the bench strength with the spend they have. So I think they'll be comfortable by that. The first game, now I think we have talked about the Fulham United game. Now we'll start with the weekend review and we'll go game by game. And I just thought I watched the game against Chelsea West Ham. West Ham look destined to be relegated. I mean, they're a really poor side the way they played the two games. And Graham Potter, I mean, he was really good at Brighton, but then you understand that's Brighton, and you build the team the way you want to. You've bought in the players. There's a certain way they want to play, and maybe suited Graham Potter. The player suited Graham Potter and his style. But then he went on to Chelsea, he was not really a success, and you can understand he did not get enough time at Chelsea. He's not a top team manager. But at West Ham, you would have expected him to succeed, which now looks strange given I think he's as bad as Amarim, but of course, there's a win percentage is higher. I know I've seen the stat, but he looks as bad as Amarim, uh, and at the end of the season, right? And at the start of the season, two games, two real poor games. You lose to Sunderland 3-0, a team that has just been promoted. No matter what they're spending and no matter home or away, you still should be able to beat sides that are being promoted. But I just felt they were disappointing that day. And they were disappointing on Friday against Chelsea. I think they get the first goal through Paqueta. It's a brilliant goal. But tend to concede via corner. They were unfortunate with the offside goal with Fulkrug. But then they didn't really look like it was a game that I mean West Ham could win or West Ham could get a lot out of. They of course after conceding 3-4 goals they tried to manufacture some chances. But I just look at it and I just look at some of the players. Van Bissaka was poor. I think two or three of the goals they've conceded, especially the in the Fernandes one. Uh, Pedro Neto one, I think Alan Zaka was sleeping at the back post, and that was his problem at United, which is why United fans were like, it won't make a difference if you sell him, or regardless of his good one-on-one defending abilities. And I think he was poor. You look at the midfield of Socek and they played Ward-Prowse up in the second half, but I just think this is not a quality side. This looks like a team that will end up being in a relegation fight, the way I see it. Chelsea, on the other hand, were really good. Uh, João Pedro looked better as compared to the first game. He was more involved. He created one. I think he created two or one. I don't know, but I definitely assisted one or two, and he got his goals. So yeah, good game for Chelsea overall. There's not a lot to get into that because it's again West Ham. West Ham are all over the place at this point, but Chelsea would have wanted that win after the Crystal Palace game. Good for them. There's this uh, Palmer wasn't there, but for Chelsea to be able to get 5 goals without Palmer is something that Maresca would look at as a positive because it just feels like even the first game they lack the creative output from players and from anyone from in that Chelsea team. And with Palmer out, I just felt that they find it difficult to score goals, but they got five. And I think Maresca will be boosted. And uh, good to see that some of the players getting the goals in. So that's on the Chelsea West Ham game. The second game, and I think a game that I really predicted the way it turned out to be was of course I did expect City to get some goals, but Spurs beating 2-0 Man City away from home kind of were already on the wall that this could happen. A lot of people thought City fans thought They won the game against Wolves 4-0. They're back, City are back. But I just felt even before the game, and I just feel this City team has not worked on the issues they had last season, right? And I predicted City to lose, and I also predicted City to finish outside of the top four. I still stick to that. I think they've not solved for their issues in defense. The goalkeeping error issues, they conceded the goal through goalkeeping. I think Trafford didn't look great for a side like City. I don't think he should be starting as quickly as he has already. Uh, I think he was poor. I think defenders in general, John Stones, Ruben Diaz, I don't get a lot of confidence from these two going into 2025, right? They've been around for 4, 5, 6 seasons, and it's just time. I think it's just time for City to get a new set of defense center halves. They're not invested in one, I think, post the World Cup. So I just think they need to get news. They've got Kusinov. I don't understand. See, you've got a player in January, and I think I don't know 45, 50 minutes spent on him. Why not play him? Right? You intend to play John Stones because apparently he understands Pep's tactics, and I've seen him play in the midfield. But I just understand you need to get proper center half playing proper center half position. And John Stones just at times just doesn't look ready for it. Uh, then you've got the midfield of Nico Gonzalez. Before that, you've got Rico Lewis on the right, which I don't have to say it. The fans would say it, the City fans would say it. He needs to be out of that team, right? He isn't ready to replace Kyle Walker. The reason City won the titles they won and the Champions League treble was because they had Kyle Walker as the right back, and I'll stick by it. He was one of the most important players in that team alongside Kevin De Bruyne, alongside the likes of uh, Raheem Sterling, alongside the likes of Riyad Mahrez, and these are players who Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. These are the key important players, not the likes of uh, Phil Foden, because he's only been good in that 1 or 2 seasons in a round. But City has been good for 5, 6 seasons. There have been other players who have been really good. They didn't solve for their midfield issues. Uh, Rodri doesn't look like the same Rodri before he got the injury, and it will be very difficult if City thinks that either Nico Gonzalez or Rodri is their solution to the defensive problems they had last season, right? Being turned over on the counter, you know. Uh, I don't think Rodri has the pace. I don't think Nico Gonzalez has the pace, and Nico Gonzalez isn't Man City built. I just don't think he is. Uh, I think they played Rangers. I think Rangers had an okay game, but the amount of hype he got after Wolves game is just fairly went. He underperformed based on that, but he had an okay game. Ryan Shirky had an okay game. I know there's been a lot of slander. I think there were 2, 3 good passes that he played in key passes. Uh, but I think he'll take time, and Rangers will take time to gel in with the forwards. But I don't necessarily think it's the forwards that are the problem. They've got a good set of the forward line looks really impressive for me with Haaland, with Doku, with Marmoush, with Shirky, with Bob, with Foden, with Bernardo Silva played up front on the right after it came on. So I just think the attack doesn't look like a problem as such. Of course, they need something new. And they've got Shoki and they've got Renders and they've got Oscar Bob fit. He wasn't fit last season. So the attack is not a problem. Of course, they did not score 2 goals, but it's just one of those games where Spurs was brilliant defensively. But I just think the problems are defensive, the goalkeeper, the center halves, the right back. Riyad that Ed Nuri doesn't flatter me. Uh, he doesn't impress me on that position, and I just feel that they'll need to go by. I think he could play Joseph Guardiola, but he was really poor against Spurs. This game itself, away games at a home game at to Spurs, and I just feel they'll have to sort this out. They'll need players in. Uh, they have got players in their spend, but I just don't think this is one of the wisest investments in some of the players they've done in the January window and even after the previous season. I think City will find it tough against some of the good oppositions and uh, some of the teams that are well built to play compact counter-attacking football. I think City will find it very tough against those teams. And on the other side, Spurs look brilliant. I think I am genuinely uh, surprised by how easy Thomas Frank has find it to come in into a new team, a difference. It isn't his team to a new set of players and background and management, and just he was brilliant against PSG. Somehow they ended up losing it. It's only Spurs will know how they ended up losing it. They were really good against Burnley, and they were really good against City. It's professional one. They had to concede a goal in the league in the two games, and they looked good for on the attacking side. I think they still spend. They'll get more players in, but Palina looks a really good by no sorry he's on loan. So he looks a really good player and a really good deal for Spurs. Uh, Sarr was brilliant. He was the man of the match. Uh, Johnson got his goal. Richarlison did his part. He got the assist for the first goal. Uh, I just think I just think Spurs will find issues with the defense. Yeah, I look at it and I see Pedro Porro. He lacks defensive now. He'll commit errors. He did commit errors against in that game as well. Not as threatening to the goal, but definitely they'll need to get someone in defense. I just look at it and see Van de Ven and Romero, and you got Jet Spence playing instead of Udogie and Pedro Porro. I don't think they've got enough depth in their defense or center halves. And Van der Ven is very injury prone. Romero is injury prone. Udogie is injury prone. So if they don't spend there, they'll find it difficult to finish in the top four. But they look really good for the part. Uh, on to the next game, Arsenal versus Leeds. As I said, already discussed, very professional performance, and I think Arsenal will have to keep doing this. They'll have to win professionally instead of trying to create 20, 25 chances a game and score one or two goals and then concede and have an end-to-end game. I think they fancy themselves to play a game where they control the ball, or even if they don't control the ball, they control territory, uh, especially their territory where they do not let uh, William Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Ben White, Julian Timber. They know what their territory is. And I just think that they're very strong defensively. And on the attack, they've got Jokeres in scoring two goals. Uh, I think they've got Isaiah, which will be a key boost to their creativity, which they lack. I think amongst the top five, top six teams, they look the least creative to me. Uh, and because I've seen them play the entire last season, they dropped points because of that. It was not just a striker issue. They could not create games. I saw the games against, uh, I think it was Ipswich. I think it was Newcastle they drew. I think they lost as well to Newcastle. There were a lot of games like that. And I just think that will be a problem for them if they don't solve it, even with Eze. But they were brilliant in this game. They get the set piece goal. I think they plan to get a set piece goal every game, and uh, they're doing it really well. I have no problems with them scoring set piece goals at the tactics they do. They're brilliant at it. And if that gets you 3 points, if that gets you the title, so be it. You do it the way you want to. And I just think I think this is the template for Arsenal, and they'll continue doing it. On to the next, the game Fulham versus United. I think we have done a reaction video already to it. Pretty disappointing game for United. I mean, and We'll not get into a lot of the game because I've already done a reaction video to that. But I just think there are a lot of things coming out of that game, and I think this is one of the game we did not want at the start of the season, where we're hearing things about Kobe Manu wants to leave. We're hearing things about Bruno Fernandes getting an offer from Al Ittihad. I just feel this is not what we wanted at the start of the season. We want the team to go in a positive mindset. We do not want players to feel like, oh, they could be in, they could be out. There has to be definite uh, communication to them from the coach as to what will their role be in the season. And it is surprising to me. I mean, it is really surprising to me of some of the leaks coming out because it's not, it has been a bad game, but it's been a bad game because we were good in the game against Arsenal, and we know we can play like that, and we know the issues that brought in this game were the goalkeeping issues with Bandir and the midfield issues, and I just feel those are two issues that could be solved, and we stop talking about them if the transfer window and the deals do their part, or the in-house do their part in getting the players in. I think they get good midfielder in Wharton or whoever they want, and they get a good goalkeeper in. I think this team is destined to play differently, and I just feel this Bruno links to Saudi, Menu links away doesn't make sense and is not right for the club at this point. We have to understand Menu's key to this team, and Bruno Fernandes is possibly Manchester United's best player in the last 5 years, and he still has to stay. You cannot let go of your captain, your best player, just at the start of a new project under a new manager. He needs to be there. It's like having Granit Xhaka in Arsenal's first really good season where they begin changing when the tide started to change. Granit Xhaka was that player for Arsenal. He was the second or third captain for them. I think he was the second captain for them. Um, and I just feel Bruno is our player. Bruno it has to be that player. Lot of negativity. I think I made that video against, and I feel bad, but I do. It's not against Bruno. It's against Amarin, and what he expects out of Bruno is the problem. Bruno is not the problem. I'll repeat myself again. Uh, so we've done this match reaction video about United already. So I'll directly jump into the final game and possibly the best game of the week. Liverpool versus Newcastle. What a game that was. You you will not see this much energy at any other stadium in the league. And Newcastle were St. James's Park. The crowd did their part, right? It was an Isak derby. I've been saying it. It was an Isak derby, but even without Isak, Newcastle looked the better side for most parts of the game, irrespective of the red card, irrespective of the goals that Liverpool scored. I just think Newcastle were better than Liverpool in every aspect of the game, except for the fact that uh, they ended up on the losing side. They ended up with 10 players. I think they were brilliant. Of course, they lacked that center forward because they had so many chances. They wasted so many set pieces at the start of the first half. And I just feel it will hit Eddie Howe that he needs to get the center forward quickly in. I think my favorite part about Newcastle side has always been the midfield trio of Bruno, Joelinton, and Tonali. And they were the engine of the Newcastle United alongside the fans. And they did their part. I think Gordon was brilliant up until he got that red card, and it was a stupid decision. It was a red card. Stupid decision from Gordon. I think Elanga was really good. But of course he'll not score you the goals. He'll be creative. He'll create trouble with his pace. Same with Avi Barnes. But you need a goal scorer in that side. You do not have genuine goal scorers in Newcastle United. Their players who will play good football, but they are not there. And that is what they feel. I think they lost the game, they lost the points because of the fact of not. If Alexander Isak would have been playing, Newcastle win this game. And I have no doubts on that comment. They win this game easy. But on the other hand, I thought Liverpool held themselves in. They they made sure that they're not affected by the crowd. They're not affected by the energy of Newcastle players. They were under pressure. I thought Liverpool looked under real pressure. They did not look like they are Premier League champions at all. But I just feel they did their part in not getting torn away by Newcastle's press, by the energy of that stadium or the players. And they held themselves in. And then Gravenberg gets that goal. It puts Newcastle in discomfort, given they thought that they were up in the game. They were the better team. They were getting chances, but all of a sudden, against the run of play, Liverpool gets that goal that puts Newcastle players off. That puts Gordon off, and then he commits to that challenge in the energy of the crowd. I feel that happens. The crowd's behind you. You've played a good game. The energy is there, but then you concede the first goal, and all that frustration build up by fans, pressure. That momentum leads you into some of those decisions. I've seen that so many times, and that happened. Uh, I, I think they get the first goal, and they get the second goal from Ekitike, who looks who looks settled. I think he's got 3 goals in 3 games. He looks settled already. And after the 2 goals, you would expect any team in the league with a red card, to just sit back, defend, do not concede four, do not get slaughtered. But Newcastle did not do that, and this is one of the best part about Premier League, right? You'll find teams like Newcastle, you'll find teams like Villa, you'll find teams like Fulham giving with their fans supporting them. They'll get the best out of whatever the situation is. And I've seen so many games in the recent seasons like this, and and Newcastle get the goal through Bruno, and then they get the goal through Osula, which I did not know was a player in Newcastle's ranks. And they did not play him up until now. But they get the goal 2-2. But you just knew it that Liverpool will need one chance. And they got the chance in the 100th minute. Overloads on the right. Then brilliant dummy from Szoboszlai. And the new player, I can't even pronounce his name, Namaha. I don't know what his name. It's very difficult for me to pronounce, but gets the goal. Kudos to him. Great finish. All in all, I just think Newcastle should not be disappointed after this game. But yeah, they will be, because they've lost Tonali, they've lost Joelinton, and they've lost Shah due to injuries. And Eddie Howe looks like he feels that those will be long injuries for all 3 of them. Uh, and this could affect their season already. But all in all, a really good game for Newcastle. Liverpool should be disappointed and should be worried about their backline, about their defense. They've got the players in attack. They've spent a lot. I looked at that bench. I made a comment saying this does not look like a side who's gonna win a title with that bench. Chiesa, Endo. I think Morton was there. There was this goalkeeper they've signed fresh. Then they had Harvey Elliott, who was destined to go out to Leipzig. Then they had uh, who did they have? They had Joe Gomez. Uh, then they had Andy Roberts, and they had this youngster who scored the goal. And I just think that's a poor bench. That's not even a top 4 bench, to be very honest. And which makes me think, are Liverpool gonna go sign more players, especially the center half position and the striker position? They'll need that. They'll need quality in depth to win title, to play in the Champions League. So that's it for this video. I think we've done justice to all of the top teams of the season. Uh, some disappointment, some really good games, but we'll look forward to the next week as well. And we'll like to hear from you what video what do you want me to make next. Thanks for this video. Bye.